Hey, what's up everyone, Ragey Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. In light of some Japanese companies, Koei Tecmo, sorry, got something caught in my throat there, destroying their products and intending to commit financial suicide by listening to Western demands, I want to take this opportunity to go into why Japanese, Korean, Chinese, or any other non-Western creators, be that of manga, anime, video games, physical products, anything you can think of, why they should ignore change requests from the West. Forget about all of this cultural differences shit. Forget about censoring and sanitizing your products to try to appeal to foreigners. Forget about ruining what actually makes your product appealing to your own people in order to try to make it appealing to somebody else. And at this point, some of you may be asking, why should they ignore a potentially huge market like that? Why would they cut off their growth? Shouldn't they be targeting their products towards a potentially huge new audience? And this is my response. Look around you. Pretty much all around the world, Western products, which are already targeted at us, at least according to the marketing focus groups, are dropping in popularity like a lead balloon, with a few exceptions of course, in favor of Eastern products, which, funny enough, are not even being targeted at us at all. Even here in the West, we prefer products that were originally targeted at a completely different market to those that are allegedly targeted at us. The point of this being, if we wanted content made specifically, allegedly to appeal to us, then we already have that in spades all around us. Yet despite that, we still voluntarily choose to consume Asian content instead. There is a reason for this. And it's almost like those who keep getting offended at everything and demanding changes don't actually speak for the actual customers. Imagine that! Over here in the West right now, pretty much every single local company is already pumping out what in their mind is meant to appeal to us. And hey, it must be true, right? This stuff must appeal to us because up until recently we've been buying it up in droves. They don't understand what suddenly changed. They don't know why all of a sudden they can't sell anything. Well, I'll tell you why. In decades past, before the days of the internet, we didn't have a choice. The vast majority of us didn't even know better stuff existed out there. We had no knowledge of it whatsoever. And those who did have knowledge of it had no easy way of getting it. But now, thanks to online shopping and built-in browser translation features and international shipping, all of those problems have been resolved. Nowadays, thanks to the internet and how quickly information as a whole and obscure knowledge in particular spreads, we can do all of our shopping at the worldwide level as opposed to just being limited to local. Without even lifting our obese asses off of our chairs, we can browse through hundreds of countries' different products looking for stuff we may want to buy. And it makes sense that in this environment we would find stuff that we didn't know about before, but it turns out we actually much prefer to what we have available locally. Now that's not saying that we don't prefer our own country's products and standards in some cases, but I'm just saying you should not assume that this is always the case when trying to make a decision of how to appeal to new markets. In the specific case of manga, anime, and video games, why, dear God, why would you want to take your product that is growing in popularity worldwide and ruin it by inserting the same shit that is the reason similar products that the West pumps out are in decline? Your product's popularity is currently growing, and yet you would scrap what makes it popular to make it more similar to your competitor's product, which is nosediving? This makes no sense at all. Please do some research first. If you actually run the numbers and come to the conclusion that it's still worth it to make these changes, well, I can't really complain too much then. At least you didn't just bow down to peer pressure. And to be honest, I can actually see the argument for the other side too. For example, when it comes to anime, so what if the anime market is growing and the Western animation market is shrinking? If Western animation is still orders of magnitude bigger than anime in the US, then as long as you can get on primetime TV, you might have a chance of snagging some of that audience. It may be a rapidly shrinking audience, but if it's still considerably bigger than your current one, it'll definitely pay off if you can get them, at least in the short term. And I have to emphasize this, in the short term. A whole lot of older forms of entertainment are dying off in current year, not necessarily because people just don't like them anymore or they just became bad, but simply because newer forms of entertainment have replaced them. That happens all throughout history. Some new form of entertainment comes out, everyone moves to that, and all the older forms of entertainment pretty much just become artisanal. An example of that we are witnessing right now is the physical toy market, which, by the way, is pretty much on its last legs here in the West, with one notable standout being high-quality collectibles aimed at adults. And this is because children would rather play video games than play with physical toys nowadays. And the same goes for pretty much all forms of passive entertainment, like movies and TV, or hell, even reading books. Though unlike the toy industry, while these sectors are far from being even near death, they are still shrinking due to competition from the likes of video games. And in this environment, if you have something that is not only stable but is actually growing in a lot of cases, like anime and the aforementioned high-quality figures and dolls aimed at adults, you should be counting your blessings and doubling down on what works and giving your very loyal customers what they want. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, listen to money more than empty words. Money talks, bullshit walks. Anyone can say anything, but they rarely back it up, especially on the internet. Money, on the other hand, once the customers vote with their wallet and you have it in your pocket, the point has been made and it's yours, unless of course you have a return policy that's ripe for abuse. If what you are doing is making you money, please don't ruining it by listening to your failing competitors' demands. There's a reason they are trying to get you to do what they do. Misery loves company. So please, don't listen to losers. Listen to your customers' wallets and be a winner. That's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening.